Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 73 of my 100-day project. I'm working in gouache, and I do not feel well today. I have been struggling with this really bad migraine all day. I don't know if I'm sick or if it's allergies or a combo, but I feel horrible. So I really sat with whether or not I was going to paint today, and I thought, well, let me pop some Tylenol and just go see what I can come up with. So what I ended up doing was a blind contour drawing. And I really love doing these when I don't want to think about anything. So what I did was I just took off my glasses, and I can't see without my glasses. And I, instead of looking at something and drawing it, I felt my face and drew that. So this was kind of like just me sort of feeling the contours of my face, not lifting the pencil, not really looking at anything, and then just going with whatever I got. I really love doing these. I think they're really fun. And I didn't have to think about anything. And so for colors, I've got the same palette I've been working with, but I put out some colors that just make me happy. So I put out Opera, which is this bright fluorescent pink. I've still got the Carmine. These are all Holbein artist gouache, which I really love. I put out turquoise blue, which is like a tealy color, and a brilliant orange. So it's pink, red, orange, blue, and then the yellow, the permanent yellow deep, I think is what it is, that's been on my palette for a while. And I just picked colors that made me happy. I did the half warm, half cool sort of thing, which I like to do. So I wasn't thinking about stuff too much. The eyes are kind of funky, and I did spend a little bit more time than I intended to on the eyes. I could have just left them wonky and funky from the beginning, but I got in my head a little bit and was like, oh no, I need to make them level and da-da-da. And then I ended up like catching myself and going, just stop, you're overworking it. Just stop, it doesn't matter. But so I did kind of futz with the eyes a little bit. And in particular, the eye on the right, it's smaller than the eye on the left. And I was trying to even them out. And I could have just played that up and gone that route. So again, I don't feel great, so I'm just doing whatever is there. But I also notice when I don't feel well, I also have a tendency to get in my head. So I'm not sort of as grounded when I don't feel well. So that's something that's a good reminder for me also, is to just set the intention, if I'm not feeling well, to just go with what's there and to stay out of my head, because I'd probably like what I create a lot more. But I really like the lines. I tried to keep the colors sort of within the shapes that were there, and kind of keep some of those shapes. I really like the lines in the forehead and stuff. And I kind of approached this more like watercolor. You might have seen me there on the cheeks. I got the cheeks wet and then lifted instead of adding white. And that's something that I would do more with watercolor because it's transparent. And the gouache isn't as transparent, but when it's really thin, it becomes more transparent and I can lift it a little bit better. So I did that to bring some light into the cheeks. I really didn't want to use a lot of white. In here, I wanted to keep the colors really vibrant and just bring some life into it. You know, I mean, if I'm not feeling great, I want bright colors. Now, in the background, I end up using something very neutral. And in the hair, I like to do neutral things to make the bright colors jump out. So that's cool. And it's really interesting. It's kind of got this very Indian feel to me. Like if you look at paintings of Indian deities and stuff like that, Hindu deities, you'll see some of these shapes and some of these bright, bright colors. And that was kind of inspiring to me. It was kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like that's sort of what was coming through. And here I'm trying to fix the eye. I'm like, well, if I turn it upside down, maybe I can see it better. It's too big, da-da-da. They're not level now. And it's just, I was just like, all right, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm putting in that little round shape on the chin that I like to do, one of those Riley rhythms on the chin. And then here I'm darkening up that background a little bit more. And I really like that I darkened it because it makes her face glow a little bit more, especially that yellow. It's a little warmer of a color than I was intending, but I was struggling getting some darks. I could get kind of a purpley, but even when I added yellow, usually when I add a yellow to a purple, I can get kind of a grayish, blackish color, and it just wasn't getting dark for me. And I didn't really want to mess with it. So that background is less gray than I wanted and a little more brown, but I'm not too mad at it. So now I'm just going in here, darkening up some of the shadows. And this is where I'm realizing I'm starting to overwork. I know, too late. But I'm like, okay, that's it. I just need to be done and finish her up. Still trying to fix that eye. Adding in a little bit more shadow there. When I was trying to even them out, the eye on the right got too big. And they're still not very symmetrical, but again, I'm not worried about it. At this point, I'm just trying to get to a point where I feel good and can be done. Darkening up that shadow a little bit there. And there she is, or there I am, I should say, because technically this is me, but, or based on me. But yeah, I kind of dig it. It was fun. It was a good way to get me out of my head for the most part. And when I'm painting, I don't notice how I'm feeling anywhere else in my body. I tend to get into the zone. So that ended up being a nice break. But I really like all those pinks and reds and oranges. They just glow really pretty. So thanks so much for joining me. I hope you're staying well and you're taking care of you. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.